At this point, we are very clear about the steps for the frequency domain filtering. So basically we are clear about the algorithm we require to perform the frequency domain filtering. So the next topic we are going to discuss is image smoothing using frequency domain filters. So you must be knowing that for any given image small f of xy, capital F of uv is the Fourier transform of it, and Fourier transform gives us the frequency domain representation of the image. So capital F of uv is the Fourier domain or frequency domain representation of the image. In that, for any content of the image, the slow changes in intensity in small f of xy are represented by low frequencies, whereas in the image small f of xy, sharp transitions, rapid transition of intensities are represented by higher frequencies. That is, if you will see a typical image that may contain the wall of a room, so within the wall the intensity changes very slowly. So those slow change of intensities will be represented by lower frequencies, whereas wherever there is an edge in the image, edge is what? A sharp change of intensity. So that edge in that image will be represented in our Fourier representation by higher frequencies. So whenever we are trying to understand how image smoothing will be attained, basically we are trying to keep with us the slow changes, and we are trying to de-emphasize the sharp transition of intensities. So obviously you can now guess that while we are trying to do image smoothing, we require a low pass filter. So what a low pass filter will do? It will retain the slow changes of intensities, whereas because they are getting represented by lower frequencies, at the same time we will be trying to de-emphasize the sharp transition of intensities. That we will do because with the help of low pass filter, because the low pass filter attenuates the higher frequencies beyond a certain cutoff frequency. So a low pass filter will retain the slow changes of intensities, whereas it will de-emphasize the sharp change of intensities. So whatever image will be resulting as a result of low pass filtering, that will be having only slow changes of intensities, and it will be devoid of the sharp transition of intensity. So we call it is a smoothed image. It's a smooth image. So how we are going to smooth the image? We are going to use a low pass filter by retaining the lower frequencies, by attenuating the higher frequencies. So in here we are going to discuss three types of low pass filters, namely ideal low pass filter, Butterworth low pass filter, and Gaussian low pass filter. Okay, Butterworth filter has got a control parameter. We'll be discussing the mathematical model in just a few moments. Butterworth filter will get a control parameter in its expression. Okay, so if we'll try to give a higher value to the control parameter, that Butterworth filter will behave like a ideal filter. At the same time, if the control parameter is assigned a lower value, okay, if we maintain a lower order control, that filter order is kept low in value, then the same Butterworth filter for that lower value of the filter order will behave like a Gaussian filter. So basically you should know that a Butterworth filter with high filter order behaves like a ideal filter, whereas the Butterworth filter with lower filter order behaves like a Gaussian filter. So basically Butterworth filter is somewhere in between the ideal low pass filter and the Gaussian low pass filter. So if you see the frequency responses in a few in the very soon we are going to explore the frequency response of each of the filters, the low pass filter, the ideal low pass filter, the Butterworth low pass filter and Gaussian low pass filter. You will see that the ideal low pass filter has a frequency response which is it is having a sharp transition of response in the ideal low pass filter, okay, whereas if you see the frequency response of Gaussian low pass filter, the frequency response changes very slowly, okay, the Gaussian low pass filter's frequency response changes very slowly. So but the Butterworth filter has a control parameter that we are calling it as a filter order. So as I said, if the filter order is kept high, the transition or the change in the frequency response will be sharp and at the same time if you keep the filter order to be at a lower value, then the frequency response will be changing very slowly, okay. As covered in the algorithm part, the frequency domain filtering algorithm part, our filter will be represented by capital H of U comma V. It will be represented by capital H of U comma V. U varying from 0 to capital P minus 1 and V varying from 0 to capital Q minus 1.
The capital H of U comma V is a filter which can be represented as an array of size P cross Q, and 0 frequency corresponds to when U is equals to P by 2 and V equals to Q by 2. That is, it is at the 0 frequency is at the center of the array.
So let us discuss the first kind of low pass filter, that is ideal low pass filters. A 2D low pass filter that passes without attenuation all frequencies within a circle of radius d subscript 0 from the origin and cuts off all frequencies outside this circle is called an ideal low pass filter. So this is how we define ideal low pass filter, okay. So the diagrams, the images which you are observing on the screen now, they represent the frequency response of the ideal low pass filter. So these are the different ways we can represent the frequency response of the ideal low pass filter. This plot is called as perspective plot of an ideal low pass filter. This B, image B represents it is also the frequency response, but this representation is called as the image representation of the frequency response, capital H of U comma V. Okay, this is also the representation of the filter. As this was the representation of the filter, this also is the representation of the same filter, the ideal low pass filter. The C is also again another way of representing the filter function capital H of u comma v, and this representation is called as radial cross section representation of the capital H of u comma v. So let us try to understand this one. Okay, this is the image plot of the frequency response. So this is u axis and this is v axis. At the very mid of it, okay, u varies from 0 to p minus 1, v varies from 0 to q minus 1. Okay, this is the whole range of u axis and v axis. So at the very mid of it, that is at p by 2, q by 2, okay, capital H of p by 2, capital H of q by 2. Okay, this is somewhere here, the point I am pointing here. So capital H of p by 2 comma q by 2 is placed somewhere here. Okay, so this point basically represents the zero frequency. Okay, as you move away from the point p by 2 comma q by 2, okay, as you move away radially outwards from the point p by 2 q by 2, the frequency is increasing. Frequency is increasing radially. So basically you can think that the radius from this origin, will give you a measure of how much higher is the frequency at a particular point on this frequency domain plot. Okay, so this is the image plot of the frequency response capital H of uv. So you will see that if the origin is somewhere here, up to a certain radius, you are observing a white circle. So basically the white portion represents the pass band of the low pass filter. So all the frequencies from zero frequency is at the origin. So 0 plus something up to this, okay, up to this radius, whatever frequencies are included, those frequencies are allowed by this low pass filter. Whereas all the frequencies beyond, suppose this radius is d0, so beyond d0 all the frequencies are attenuated. Any frequency which is less than d0 are allowed by the low pass filter. So the cutoff frequency is sharp here. Okay, d0 is a sharp cutoff frequency. The radius d0 from origin represents the cutoff frequency. So frequency response capital H of u comma v is equals to 1 when capital D of u comma v is less than or equals to d0, and capital H of u comma v is 0 if capital D of u comma v is greater than d0. So now you may ask that what is capital D of u comma v? So we were just referring to the image plot of the frequency response capital H of u comma v. So there, for any particular value of u comma v, it is a point, and the distance of that point u comma v from the point p by 2 comma q by 2 is nothing but capital D of u comma v. That is nothing but capital D of u comma v. So D of u comma v is given by the Euclidean distance rule. It is given as u minus p by 2 whole square plus v minus q by 2 whole square root. So it is basically the Euclidean distance of u comma v point from the point p by 2 q by 2. So it is on the basis of this distance is the frequency response of the ideal low pass filter is defined. So it is defined as capital H of uv is 1 when the distance d of uv is less than or equal to d0, and it is equals to 0, h of uv is equals to 0 if the distance d of u comma v for a particular value of u and v is greater than d0. So here this is the point p by 2 q by 2 p by 2 q by 2, and from here this is the radial distance d0. So within this white region we have all the values of u comma v for which d of uv is less than d0. So this comprises the pass band of the ideal low pass filter. So in all the region that is appearing black in this image plot of capital H of uv, that comprise the stop band of the ideal low pass filter. So the transition from pass band to stop band is very much sharp. Now let us come to the radial cross section representation of capital H of u comma v. So basically this origin u equals to p by 2, v equals to q by 2, this origin represents the zero frequency, and capital H of p by 2 comma q by 2 represents the component at zero frequency. So this point p by 2 q by 2 is located here in this radial cross section representation of capital H of u comma v. So this is the point p by 2 q by 2, and the distance is represented on this axis. This is capital D of u comma v. So basically it is a measure of frequency in this plot. So frequency is increasing in this direction. So up to d0 is the pass band, and as we saw in the expression, up to d0, up to the distance d0, up to the frequency d0, because the distance is representing frequency here. So up to the frequency d0, the h of u comma v is having a magnitude gain of 1, and beyond d0 it is 0. So this clearly corresponds to the image plot. You see here, from the point of origin p by 2 q by 2 up to the radial distance d0, the image plot has white intensity to represent that the response is giving a magnitude gain of 1. The same thing has been represented here in the cross sectional representation, that capital H of uv is 1 from this reference point up to the frequency d0, and beyond d0 for any distance greater than d0, for any frequency greater than d0, the capital H of uv is 0 only. So you saw the correspondence between the image plot and the radial cross sectional plot of capital H of uv. The same is expected, the same correspondence is expected for the perspective plot of the ideal low pass filter. The perspective plot of the ideal low pass filter can be achieved by rotating this radial cross sectional plot around 360 degree, about 360 degree in 3D. So this point of p by 2 q by 2 can be spotted on this UV plane at where u is equals to p by 2 and v equals to q by 2. So you will place this response, this point, to correspond to that u equals to p by 2, v equals to q by 2, and rotate this cross sectional plot by 360 degree to get this perspective plot. In a way, if you will see, this is a cylindrical in formation. The base of this cylinder is a circle, and that circle is placed on UV plane. So the position of that circle on the UV plane gives you that image plot. So three of the representation of capital H of UV are equivalent. So whichever plot you need to whichever plot gives a better understanding in a particular application about the filter, you may use any of these three representation of the filter capital H of U comma V. So next comes the Butterworth low pass filter. So it is a filter with a control parameter small n. The frequency response of Butterworth low pass filter is given by capital H of U comma V equals to 1 upon 1 plus capital D of U comma V by D0 to the power 2n. So as per our prior notation, capital D is the distance of any point U comma V on the UV plane from the point P by 2 Q by 2. That is that value of UV which represents the zero frequency, and that is at the mid of the UV plane. D0 is a distance which represents the measure of cutoff frequency. The three plots shown in the figure represents the perspective plot, image plot, and the radial cross sectional plot of the Butterworth low pass filter. So if you come to the radial cross sectional plot, here you see the magnitude gain decreases slowly as a function of the frequency capital D of UV. In addition to it, for every value of n, the transition of the gain with frequency is changing. As you can see, when small n is equals to 1, the fall in gain is slow. Fall in gain is very slow. Whereas when n is equals to 4, the gain was at a certain value and it is decreasing sharply. So as you are going to increase the value of the filter order n, the frequency response of a Butterworth low pass filter will approach towards the response of a ideal low pass filter. The more lesser is the value of n, the more slowly the gain is going to fall as a function of frequency. So this is the image plot. This is the image plot of the frequency response capital H of UV. This is another way of representing the frequency response. So in this you will see that there is no complete white up to a certain region, and there is no complete black up to a particular defined precise region. Okay, so in the mid it is lighter intensity, a whiter intensity, and as you move radially outward from the point P by 2 Q by 2, the intensity is decreasing. That means the whiter intensity represents the maximum gain and the darker intensities represents the lesser gain. So as we are moving away from the center of the UV plane, center of the UV plane represents the zero frequency, that is the point of p by 2 comma q by 2 represents zero frequency. So as we move away from the zero frequency radially to higher and higher frequencies, the gain is decreasing. So that is prevalent from that is quite obvious. As we see on the plot, the intensity is decreasing as we move radially outwards. So as we move ahead away from the center, it is getting darker. So there is no sharp frequency point capital D which we can point it out as a cutoff frequency, which was so in the case of ideal low pass filter. But in this case you cannot locate a decisive frequency point or decisive radial distance capital D, which is a measure of frequency here. So you cannot be very sure about a particular frequency at which you can treat it as a cutoff frequency. So the solution here to define the cutoff frequency is, so we assign a particular decrease in capital H of uv from the maximum, to which we can say that if capital H of uv decreases to this limit, we will call it the corresponding frequency as the cutoff frequency for the filter. So in the shown example, you will see that the cutoff frequency D0 is that frequency for which the maximum gain is normalized up to 1 in this plot. Okay, so if the maximum gain is 1, so cutoff frequency is defined as that frequency at which the gain is decreasing to 50% of the maximum. So at this point in any of the curve, the gain is decreasing to 50% to whatever frequency, the corresponding frequency has been assigned or said to be the cutoff frequency. One more thing is to be observed here, that changing the value of n doesn't change the cutoff frequency. Changing the value of the n doesn't change the cutoff frequency, and it is also very much obvious from the expression capital H of u comma v. So D0, whatever D0 value you assign, it acts as a cutoff frequency irrespective of the value of n. The value of n will only control how slowly or how sharply the gain is going to decrease as a function of frequency. So as we have been saying that three of the plots, the perspective plot, the image plot and the radial cross-sectional plot of the frequency response capital H of uv are equivalent. So you can get the perspective plot from the radial cross-sectional plot if you rotate the radial cross-sectional plot in 3D clockwise or anti-clockwise about 360 degree. Okay, you rotate for any value of n, you will rotate this perspective, rotate this radial cross-sectional plot by 360 degree, you will get this perspective plot. So the third type of filter to be discussed is the Gaussian low pass filter. Its frequency response capital H of u v, capital H of u comma v is given by e to the power minus d square of u comma v divided by 2 d0 square, where d0 is the cutoff frequency as we have been taking till now. So if you look at the equation, d0 is taking the place of the sigma in the original function of that Gaussian function. So d0 is taking the place of, so d0 is taking the place of standard deviation in the original Gaussian function. So it is quite obvious. So as you will increase the d0, the spread of this curve, the spread of the curve is going to increase. So when d0 is 100, it has the maximum of all these curves. When d0 is 10, the spread of the curve is least, because d0 is taking the place of standard deviation in the original Gaussian function expression. So corresponding to this radial cross-sectional plot, if you see this image plot of the Gaussian low-pass filter, so quite obviously the gain is maximum at p by 2 q by 2 point, so that is the point corresponding to 0 frequency, and the gain slowly decreases as you go for higher and higher frequency. So radially outwards the frequency is increasing in the image plot, so it is becoming darker and darker as we are moving radially outwards in the image plot of capital H of u comma v. The perspective plot can be obtained from the radial cross-section plot by placing this axis on at u equals to p by 2, v equals to q by 2, and rotating this whole thing about 360 degree about the axis, and we will get this particular surface as a function of u and v variables. So this will give you the perspective plot of the Gaussian low pass filter. So three of the equivalent plots to represent the Gaussian low pass filter frequency response capital H of u comma v. One more speciality of Gaussian low pass filter is that the spatial Gaussian filter, that means when we calculate IDFT, we have the capital H of uv, that is the frequency domain thing. If we calculate the IDFT of it, it is again a Gaussian function. So being a Gaussian function, the spatial Gaussian filter will have no ringing effect, which was otherwise may be there for other sharp cutoff frequency filters, but in the case of Gaussian filters there will be no ringing to be seen.